Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. How are you today? So hope that everybody in a good condition, and let's us continue with our chapter 2, internal combustion engine, session 2, auto cycle, and in the part 1. Okay, let us begin with doa. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma ftah alaina hikmataka wanshur alaina min khazaini rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin. Ya Allah, bukakanlah kepada kami hikmahmu dan berikanlah kami kepada kami rahmatmu. Ya Allah yang maha pengasih lagi maha penyayang. Amin ya rabbal alamin. InsyaAllah moga-moga kita diberikan kefahaman di dalam chapter 2 auto cycle ni. Okay, now let us see our quote of the day dalam bahasa Melayu ya. Jika merasakan ujian sebesar kapal, maka yakinlah nikmat Allah itu sebesar lautan. Jadi ujian yang kita terima sekarang ni, kita tak boleh buat face to face punya kelas ya. Kena buat virtual class, tak apa. Kita yakinlah bahawa ini adalah ujian dan kita tengok pula nikmat yang telah Allah bagi kat kita. Kita still lagi boleh bernafas, makan, ada rumah, tempat tinggal lagi untuk duduk kan. Jadi sama-samalah kita minta pada Allah supaya kita diberikan kekuatan dan jauhkan diri kita pada merungut semua ya. Jadi kita tabahkanlah hati kita untuk mengharungi ujian ni, insyaAllah. Okay, so we still in the chapter 2, internal combustion engine. So in this session 2, we will we will learn the detail about auto cycle or spark ignition engine. Okay, so we will try to learn about the processes, the efficiency, how to get the efficiency of the auto cycle, and the mean effective pressure, MEP. Okay, we know that reciprocating engines have two types, that is spark ignition engine, SI, and two compression ignition engines. So what is the main difference, big difference between these two is actually the spark ignition engine. There is a spark plug that will initiate the combustion in the spark ignition engine. While the compression ignition engine, the air and fuel mixture is compressed until its ignition temperature. We know that when we compress, the pressure will increase as well as temperature. So it will increase the temperature and initiate the combustion. Okay, to enhance your understanding, please watch these two videos. It's very interesting videos to further your understanding between these two types of recipe. Okay, in this slide, it's actually the introduction to the petrol engines, the history of the petrol engine. It begins in 1876 in Germany by Nicholas August Otto. So that's why we say that we name it our cycle as a auto cycle. Okay, for spark ignition engine used in petrol engines. Else you can read it by yourself. The history in this okay, in auto cycle is actually the ideal cycle for spark ignition reciprocating engine, where we have 4-stroke and 2-stroke. Okay, 4-stroke and 2-stroke. of Otto-cycle IC engines. So what is the difference between this 4-stroke and 2-stroke engine is that in 4-stroke engine, the piston executes 4 complete stroke, which is 2 mechanical cycles within the cylinder, and therefore the crankshaft complete only 2 revolutions for each thermodynamic cycle. While in 2-stroke engine, all these 4 functions stated above in 4 strokes engine are executed in just 2 strokes. We just have only the power stroke and the compression stroke. Okay, we will explain in detail. Okay, in 4-stroke engine, we have 4 process. We have 4 process, 4-stroke. So we have intake stroke, we have compression stroke, we have power stroke, and lastly we have exhaust stroke. So in this page, we will explain in detail the intake stroke. So in intake stroke, as we can see in this figure, on the intake stroke, the valve is open. Okay, when the valve is open, and then the piston is moving down, and the mixture of air and vaporized fuel is being pushed by atmospheric pressure into the cylinder through the intake. Okay, after the intake stroke is the compression stroke. Okay, the compression stroke as we see in this figure. So the compression stroke happen after the piston reach its lower limit of its travel, and it begins to move upward, as you can see in this figure, the arrow. So as this happens, the intake valve is actually closed. Okay, the exhaust valve also closed, so the cylinder is sealed. As the piston move upwards, so that the air and fuel mixture is compressed. After the compression stroke, then there will be a power stroke. Okay, the power stroke. So the power stroke, in this power stroke, the combustion occur. Okay, as the piston reach the top of its travel, as you show in this figure, okay, after the piston reach the top of its travel on the compression stroke, an electric spark produced at the spark plug. This is spark plug, and the ignition system deliver a high voltage surge of electricity to the spark plug to create a spark, and the spark ignites the air fuel, the compressed air fuel mixture. And then what happened is the combustion occur. Okay, so the power impulse is transmitted down to the piston, and therefore the piston rod connecting to the rod and to the crankshaft is moving. And the last one is the exhaust stroke. So after power stroke, the piston reached the bottom of its travel. As shown in the figure, at first, the piston reached at the bottom of its travel, and the exhaust valve will be opened. And now the piston moved up on the exhaust stroke, and therefore it forced the burn gases, the production of the combustion, out from the cylinder through the exhaust port. So when the piston reaches the top of its travel, the exhaust valve closes, and then the intake valve open. So the cycle repeat again with the intake stroke. So these 4 strokes are continuously repeated during the operation of SI engine. As stated before, in 2-stroke engines, all these 4 function, all the 4 function, intake, compress, power, and exhaust stroke are executed in just two strokes, that is power stroke and compression stroke. The intake or compression and exhaust. And the operation of this two-stroke engine, at first the crankcase seal, and then the outward motion of the piston is used to slightly pressurize the air-fuel mixture in the crankcase. Okay, the intake and exhaust valve are replaced by openings in the lower portion of the cylinder wall. During the latter part of the power stroke, the piston uncover first the exhaust port and allowing the exhaust, then the intake port allowing the exhaust gases to be rushed in and drive most of the remaining exhaust gases out from the cylinder. So this mixture is then compressed. As the piston moves upwards during the compression stroke and is subsequently ignited by the spark plug. Okay, for more details of this 2 and 4 stroke engine, you can watch this video to further understanding the processes in 2 stroke and 4 stroke engine.